Oh, shit! Got him, coach! Oh, damn, look at the damage. Let's get it. That's it for Wotan. Wait, where's the upper half? What the hell? Where's the head? That's what she said. Boom, one shot, let's go! I'm literally untouchable, man. I got the speed demon with the barrier. Look at this, I'm moving so fast they can't hit me. Just the fact that I'm moving this fast, nothing can hit me. Then I got a barrier? Dude, this is not fair anymore. Just look at this. What the f... I literally created a monster. I created a monster. I'm untouchable. Jump over this. Come over here. Everybody's dead, man. We're guarding takedown ready. No problem, man. Look at this. Look at this. Woo! Let's go. Come on, give me some more enemies. I want more destruction. Oh my god, we're literally melting everything. Let's go, baby. Oh my god, nothing stands a chance. Literally, let's go, man. This is such a sick build. The power. The power. I'm literally running through everything right now. Just bulldozing through anything in my way. Come here. Where's the other one? Right here? Light work. Literally, are you seeing this? Zane said it himself. 1, 2, 3. Couple more shots. They're all dead. Where's the next one? Don't hide. One more to go. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scared Soldier back with another Borderlands 3 video, and in today's video we are going to be looking at our brand new Bloodstain Zane. Now this is an updated Bloodstain Zane that used to be a Mayhem 4 edition, but now we brought him to Mayhem 10. A lot of people like this build, so I decided to bring it back. So what we got here for Zane is of course a redistributor. Now we're using the radiation one with the cryo because this is going to be good for the Guardian takedown overall, and in general radiation and cryo are just one of the best combos in the game because both of those elements are very universal. Radiation is great against shield and health bar, and then the cryo is very good against armor and health bar. So the two elements together are great to just do damage to any type of enemy in the game. Now we have the same combination on our Chaos In, and the reason why we have the Chaos In is because there are some targets who are a little stronger, and also when there's not a lot of ads around, the redistributor is not very good. So when we only have a one single target enemy, we pull up the Chaos In, and then once we have some other things like bigger enemies who basically have a bigger hit radius or a hitbox anyways, the Monarch is really good because it has a lot of projectiles, shoots really quickly, and you can get a lot of critical hits, which helps you kill enemies quite quickly. And then finally we have a backburner on hand. Now you can switch this slot right here for any weapon you want. You can also put other RPGs here. Yellow Cakes, Plague Bearers are also fantastic choices. The reason I have the backburner is because it's so strong versus big targets. The bigger the target, the more damage this gun does, it feels like, and it's insane. So definitely recommend getting yourself at least a backburner. I know it's a hard farm, guys. I know it's like weird how it's all set up right now, but if you have the opportunity to get this gun, please get it. Trade it with your friends, figure out a way, but this gun is amazing. Now when it comes to shields, we're using the Old God. This is just amazing. Since we're always doing cryo damage, we want more cryo damage, so all our guns are going to get that bonus with the Old God, which is awesome. And the Old God is probably just a very, very good overall shield. Now that the Sidorak is nerfed and stuff, we have to go with a different option, so we have the Old God. Also, we have the recurring Hex and the Anointment. We have Grenade Thrown since we're basically going to be mobbing most of the time. And that's exactly why we also have the Sentinel active movement speed is increased by 15% on our old god, because again, this is just great overall for mobbing. Now, when it comes to the class mods, Seeing Dead is no question. We threw on a +5 with Donnybrook. This is going to give us 90% damage when both of our action skills are active. But again, you can throw on any Seeing Dead that you guys like that fits your weapons the best, as long as your bottom rolls are suited against your weapon. So you see I have SMGs, I have SMG damage and weapon damage, which is universal, and pretty much almost all the weapons I have here except the redistributor do splash damage. So it's a pretty universal class mod, the one I have right now. But make sure your bottom rolls match the weapons you're using. Now, when it comes to skill trees, nothing's really changed dramatically compared to the older build. So what the main changes are is we put 3 points into Cool Hand and only 1 point in Salvation. Before, it was actually the opposite. We only need 1 point in Salvation now because Mayhem 10 weapons do a lot of damage, and 1 point is basically like 5 points into Salvation. So with those extra points, we put them into Cool Hand, which is nice because we hit the threshold where it actually feels like a difference with reload speed, which is 3 points into here. And then the rest has not changed from the older build. So here it is, guys. That's the blue tree, how it's set up. And then we're going to go over to the red tree or orange tree, whatever you guys want to call it. And instead of having 5 out of 5 in borrowed time like last time, we decided to take only 2 points into borrowed time and put the rest into mag size, because this is going to give us overall more DPS. Honestly, 2 points into borrowed time, your action skills stay up a long time, especially the Sentinel. And as long as there's a lot of enemies around you, your action skills will never go down with just 2 points. So that's all you need. And we got some more DPS out of that trade. So when it comes to the green tree, lastly, the biggest change we made was instead of 5 points in Adrenaline, because Adrenaline, if you guys haven't realized or noticed, Adrenaline is not very effective for, with Zane much. It doesn't really work that well. What you're going to be relying on to get your action skills back quickly, if ever they do go away, is this perk right here. So I'm going to show you right now. It's in the Guardian point and it's called Topped Off. So this gives you 200% increased action skill cooldown rate while shields are full. So this is going to be insanely crazy for getting your action skills back. Now, that's where we put 5 points into Brain Freeze instead of Adrenaline, because freezing people is beneficial to us since we are using the Icebreaker class mod right over here. So as long as you have an Icebreaker Victory Rush, you guys are good to go with Zane. Again, the bottom rolls, make sure they are tailored to most of the weapons you're using. And I would recommend at least having one with either area of effect or movement speed on it, because movement speed is going to be universal and translate to damage with any gun you use. And then whatever main gun you use, have extra damage on that. So mostly we use SMGs, so that's why I have another SMG roll on it with movement speed. And I get some bonus action skill cooldown rate on top of that, which is kind of sweet. Now, lastly, this was allowing us to get down to all-rounder, and all-rounder is very important. This is actually really tanky for us, and especially for the Guardian takedown. You're going to need an all-rounder for the most part for your first couple of tries to kind of get your feet wet, feel it out, and the all-rounder is just a good way to keep yourself safe. So we got that, and that's pretty much the skill tree, guys. Now, quickly, I'm going to show you one more time my Guardian rank, so I'm at 517. And then finally, these are the modifiers I'm using, and I do suggest you guys with this build as well, because it will help you guys out. If you guys can grab Speed Demon and don't mind moving at like lightning speeds, that's a really cool perk to have. Mom mentality, is very neutral. Chain Gang is also very neutral, and then Roguelite, just if you don't really fight for your life much with as a character like Zane, I would say with Mo's, avoid Roguelite at all costs because she does a lot of splash damage to herself. But with Zane, he doesn't really go down very often at all, so Roguelite is not a big deal. It's very passive, honestly. As long as you don't die, you don't have any negative effects to yourself, so that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and head on over to some gameplay now of the build, and I'm going to be diving into a little more detail when it comes to the build itself and everything you should know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to the first part of the gameplay. Alright, I wanted to originally post this build with the Guardian takedown, but the Guardian takedown has been postponed, so we're gonna have to use other means such as the Slaughter Shaft and the Malinois takedown to showcase this build in more detail to you guys. So without further ado, let's talk about first, which is Slaughter Shaft. So obviously Slaughter Shaft is best known for a ton of ads, and this is what you are seeing, just that. This is a very good test to see where your build is at, because you're dealing with a ton of damage, a lot of enemies, etc, etc. So what you're going to notice first of all is that we're moving extremely fast, and that is due to Speed Demon. So every time you get a kill, your speed goes up by 50%, and that stacks 3 times. So essentially you get 150% extra speed, which kind of sounds like a lot, but guys, you guys can actually adjust to it quite easily, such as I did. I mean, the first couple times I'm like, damn, I'm moving quite fast. But what you realize is that you become an untouchable god with this setup. Nobody can hit you. Plus you have the barrier, so it's really tough to kill Zane like this, and I find it's really fun, especially to speed rush enemies and do a ton of damage. Now I'm not sure if Speed Demon correlates to an extreme amount more damage, although you would think that more speed equals more damage with Zane. I'm not sure, I haven't tested exactly how much more Speed Demon would give Zane, but nonetheless it still feels like you're doing a ton more damage anyways, and I enjoy it quite a bit. And when it comes to some of the other modifiers, try to look for modifiers that are more neutral. That's why like you see me with the very hard using Roguelite, because like I was saying, it's very hard to kill Zane. So Roguelite really doesn't act in any other way compared to some of the other modifiers like very hard that you can get, which can reduce your critical hit damage, which can essentially make your life very annoying. Those are kind of things, and also the buddy system can slow some of your runs down. The buddy system can get annoying to try to shoot at, especially when you're moving really fast. You can have accuracy issues, and it's not really fun. I just want to kill enemies, and that's why we avoid buddy system. Now again, you guys are seeing when we go against single target enemies or enemies who are not surrounded by a group of enemies, we like to pull out the chaos and to deal a ton of damage versus those type of enemies. Now also, I like to also carry a Monarch when there's a bigger target, because the Monarch has a bigger hitbox and I can connect more of those shots with that bigger target. So the Monarch is extremely effective versus those kind of enemies. And then finally, of course, just a redistributor to clear out the crowds. Pretty self-explanatory. And then of course you can carry any other weapon you guys like. OPQ systems are awesome, of course. I mean, those weapons like the Yellow Cake, Plague Bear, Backburner, those are just essential weapons that you guys can acquire being at Mayhem 6 or greater. Those are fantastic weapons to have. Now the one concern you guys may have may be in regard to how the actual patch may affect some of the weapons that you currently have, but in all honesty guys, I would not say you guys should worry at all. All they're going to do is simply reduce the amount of health enemies have at Mayhem 10, Mayhem 8, and 9, and that's pretty much it. And what they're going to do, they can't just leave a Yellow Cake still doing the same damage, for example, as it was doing against an enemy with 12,000 damage. So they're going to bring down the damage a little bit, but it's going to feel equal to what it is now, or slightly maybe a little less, but you guys won't notice a big difference. So do not worry about that at all. And the redistributors is considered actually an underperforming gun, so it's either going to stay the same damage and feel stronger against those weaker targets, or they'll maybe even buff the damage on those weapons. So if anything, this build is going to feel even stronger once they release the Guardian Takedown and the patch number 1. Now the one thing that may change overall in terms of build wise is just the Guardian Takedown in general. So if you guys recall, in the MAYHEM Takedown, there was several exclusive weapons that actually changed the way certain characters built. Via the redistributor was a very amazing weapon for a character like Zane. It changed the game for him to run through the takedown with ease. Spiritual Driver was an amazing class mod for Amara, actually one of her best class mods to date. So if we receive maybe a new class mod, potentially a new artifact, or even a game-changing shield or class mod, it may switch up this build slightly, but guys, definitely I will not let you guys down. I will update you if anything, but if you guys need a build to start the takedown for your first couple runs, to start farming it, or just to run through it a little bit to have some fun, this is definitely a build you guys are going to want to try. It's absolutely insane. The gameplay is speaking for itself. It's insane, guys. I cannot stress that enough. Alright, so we're at the MAYHEM takedown, everybody's favorite takedown, and only takedown at the minute until the Guardian takedown comes out. But you guys see we are going absolutely ham right here, just spraying through the enemies, no problem. And look how fast we're moving. So quickly, guys, what I like to do over here is actually, you're gonna see me run all the way to the edge right here and then run all the way back. So what I like to do is spawn in all the enemies at once, or try to get as many enemies to spawn in as possible. So I like to go through the whole region, and once they all come out, then I pull out my gun and start just absolutely going through the mobs real quick. So that's what you guys are seeing right here. And sometimes I like to use the plague bearer to clear out a big group of enemies for me. If you guys are familiar with the Scourge, the plague bearer is very similar in the way that it actually shoots out homing missiles around that big orb, and those missiles hit really hard and kill a lot of enemies. So once we get through basically that little area here, then we pull out the redistributor and start killing the rest of the little ads that are left. And there's not too many, as you guys see. Our plague bearer did a really good job of clearing that out. And then once we are going to be dealing with the Kraken, we're going to be pulling out the back burner, because the back burner is insane versus boss like enemies. So that's what you're going to see right here. A couple shots and that guy is literally dead. Really easy. The most damage you actually get from the back burner is actually from those extra projectiles coming out of the orb. So once the orb hits the enemy, those extra projectiles coming out of the orb is what does the most damage. So that's what's important, is to get it against a big enemy. Also, you want to get it against an enemy that's standing still. If the enemy starts to move, you're not going to get any damage at all. So essentially, when you hit the enemy with the back burner really quickly, so you shoot the orb, it hits the enemy, but that enemy runs away or moves or does whatever he does, your back burner is not going to do any damage, because it relies on those little extra projectiles to start hitting the enemy, like you guys see right there. He's staying in that same position, so those little extra raining orbs do a lot of damage. Now that that's out the way, now we're over at the bridge, where of course there's a ton of ads, and this build shines when it comes to a lot of ads. So we got the redistributor clearing out the crowds. Pretty standard stuff when it comes to Zane. I mean, a redistributor is going to be your best friend. By the way, you get that by killing Wotan, if you guys didn't know. And then that's how we're dealing with these crowds over here. And then at times we will be pulling out the Monarch whenever we have to deal with a big heavyweight and he's off on his own because we killed some of his friends too quickly. But I feel like the redistributor feels just as strong, actually, compared to how it used to. I don't know if it's because of Speed Demon or whatever, but it definitely feels really strong. So here you go, guys. Here's the modifiers, just to show you before we go kill Wotan. I don't want to make you guys think I'm using anything fancy. So here you go. We got Speed Demon, Mob Mentality, Chain Gang, and then Rogue Light. So nothing fancy. Like, that's why I'm moving super fast, so don't think anything else. But yeah. So here we go, we got our rad redistributor. We're waiting for those ads to come in so our redistributor can absolutely rock Wotan's world. Then here we go with the back burner. You're going to see just how strong this weapon is. It's insane, especially that we're moving super fast. It just makes it hit even harder. And here we go again. There's ads around Wotan, and how we control those ads that keep spawning. If you guys do not kill the ads, there will be a ton more enemies around Wotan, so make sure you control them, and that's why we pull out the redistributor, to make sure we can crowd control. And one of the main important things when you're using a redistributor, guys, or any weapon that chains, make sure you're hitting the strongest enemy first. When I use a redistributor, I mainly try to shoot Wotan, because all the damage that chains off of Wotan hits the enemies super hard, harder than if I hit a smaller enemy versus Wotan. So now this is where I keep using the redistributor, because the upper half and the lower half are quite close to each other, and when that happens, I like to use the redistributor because it will chain those two enemies and it will do a lot of damage. That's why you see us ripping through his shield. And then right here, you're going to see us using the back burner, a super amazing gun, and just look how it tears through his health. And keep in mind, guys, we're not using an actual class mod that boosts our heavy weapon damage, so this is literally just basically the gun and the build together and the skill points, and then look at that, just absolutely one shot the upper half. So pretty insane stuff, guys. I hope you go ahead and try out the build for yourselves. It's really awesome. Give it a try. Let me know what you guys thought about the build, and leave a like for your boy, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you guys do not miss another video. I'll see you in the next one. It's your boy Scared Soldier signing out. Peace.
The more fun it is to shoot him in the friggin' face.